We're here in Rio de Janeiro, and I guarantee you this will be an unforgettable experience as you get to taste the food, the culture, have experiences with the historical aspect of Brazil. That's right, one of the major parts of the African diaspora. And guess what? We want you to join us here in Brazil. The views are amazing, the food is spectacular, and the experience is unforgettable. And the only thing that's missing is you. Join us.
Hey family, welcome to the Africa Diaspora News Channel. My name is Lynient Akotonou making this report. So this story is a warning to our sisters out there, to the Black Americans, to the Africans, because sometimes I wonder how that this is going on and we have Africans that still travel out to deliver their child, So let's watch the story, family, and then we'll come back to talk about it.
Time on how racism is systematic. I'm pregnant. I'm a Black woman. I go into labor with my baby. They tell me what's going to happen. Baby comes, baby's premature. I breastfeed my children. Shocking, right? Because apparently Black women don't do that. But here's what I will tell you. This is where the systematic racism comes into play. Not being called the N-word, but literal systematic racism. They come in and tell me, we cannot give your daughter your breast milk because we found drugs in your system. I say, well, that's impossible because I don't do drugs. They say it was marijuana. I say that is also impossible because I don't smoke marijuana. They say, well, we found it in your milk and we cannot give her your milk. We're going to give her this formula. We need you to sign a paper for this formula we're going to give her. I say, fresh out of surgery, might I add, C-section, having these conversations. Daughter is 1 pound. I'm stressed out. They're telling me I'm a drug addict.
So family, this sister is sending a warning to Black pregnant women. You're Black and you are in America or you are in any European country, be careful. Because this sister has gone through a lot. We'll say that this sister shared her experience. She talked about what she went through, how that she put to bed, and then they told her that she couldn't feed her child her breast milk because they saw drugs in her system.
Don't do drugs. So they then come in, a bunch of white women come in and say, well, do you eat lemon poppy seed? No, I don't. Actually, I'm actually vegan and I don't do any drugs. They then say, well, maybe your neighbors gave you some brownies. Maybe your neighbors made some brownies and it had weed in it and you didn't know. I say, I live in a community of people who don't make weed brownies. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house, over 2,000 square feet, 2-car garage. I don't smoke marijuana or eat marijuana brownies. They say, well, we found it in there. I said it couldn't be mine. So now I am fresh out of surgery from being cut open on my stomach, being told by all of these white women that I live in a community that makes brownies and drugs me, right? Like I'm being drugged by my neighbors unknowingly, and I'm also doing drugs while pregnant. This is all being told to me fresh out of being cut open with a child that's 1 pound. Don't know if she's going to survive. No medical care or attention. It took for the hospital, the president of the hospital, to be called, demanding to retest my milk or there's going to be a lawsuit. I am post-surgery, guys.
And she told them that, not me, because I am not a drug addict. I have never taken drugs. So how is it that you found drugs in my system? So yeah, she argued with them. She did drag with them. They went back and forth until they did confirm that there was no drug in her system. I mean, it was a back and forth, right? They wanted to test something on her child, according to what she said. So if she hadn't dragged with them, if she hadn't stood on what she believed, they would have, just pinned that thing on her, pinned the drug thing on her, made her believe that she had drug in her system, even if she did not have drug in her system. So this is a warning to sisters that before you put to bed, because we've seen stories, family, we've heard stories how that women put to bed, and when they put to bed, their children are being given things they do not know. Family, this is actually not the first time this is happening. It happened in 1946. And we're going to check that story. How that a new formula was tested on a black woman's child. Not just one, though. Let's check the story out, family. On May 23rd, 1946, in the rural southern town of Reidsville, North Carolina, a small miracle occurred. The woman responsible for this miracle was Annie Mae Fultz. Annie Mae was a tall, beautiful black Cherokee mother of 6 children. She had lost her ability to speak and hear during a childhood illness. Beginning at 1:13 a.m., Annie Mae gave birth in short intervals to the world's first recorded identical quadruplets. And family, it's not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. Against all odds, each of these 4 tiny girls survived their first few hours and began to grow steadily. Now, word of their birth spread quickly throughout the country, and Mae's joy at her perfect new daughters was irrepressible. But something happened, family. Fred Cleaner was the white doctor who delivered the girls in Annie Penn Hospital, in the basement wing reserved for black patients. Now, Dr. Cleaner quickly realized how his new patient's instant celebrity could benefit him. He began testing his controversial theories about vitamin C on the girls on the day of their birth, injecting them with 50 milligrams each. Now, he did not stop there, family. Dr. Cleaner snatched the privilege of naming the girls from Annie Mae and their father, Pete, a tenant farmer on a nearby tobacco farm. Dr. Cleaner gave all the sisters the first name, Mary, then middle names belonging to his wife, Sista, and great aunt, Anne, Louise, Alice, and Catherine. So Dr. Cleaner named these girls after his own family, not the black mother right now. And he tested a new formula on them, the vitamin C. And guess what? He was not done. He began negotiating this formula with companies that sought to become the newly famous Fultz Quartz corporate godparent. The company with the highest bid would be the first to target black women with a formula advertising campaign. And Dr. Cleaner selected St. Louis Pet Milk Company for this honor. The deal he made with the pet milk set in motion a chain of events that would lead to Annie Mae losing not just the right to naming her girls, but the girls themselves. Now, the consequences of this contract reached far beyond the Fultz sisters. Now, family, let's just go down, right? Now, over the following decades, as images marketing formula to black women increased, positive images of black women breastfeeding remained virtually non-existent. That means there were no images of black women actually breastfeeding their children. This was far back 1946. They believed it was formula they tested on their children. They did not allow these black mothers to feed their children, to breastfeed their children. Magazines such as National Geographic portrayed breastfeeding black women as exotic and savage. Imagine that. Popular and media imagery reflected and perpetuated wide disparities in breastfeeding rates between black and white mothers. Selling formula to black women aligned with the stereotype first popularized in slavery of black women as cold and incompetent mothers. Family, also under this article, we have the story of a black mother who gave birth, and she did not realize that this formula wasn't actually nourishing her child as it should, and she lost the child. So this is not the first time. When talking about this, we are talking from the standpoint of what they have done. We're talking about fact, and fact do not lie. We're talking about what they've done, the number of lives they've taken, the number of children they've taken from their mothers. So they test their formulas on these children. And thankfully, this sister was able to see through their plans, and she was strong enough. Now, in times like this, we'll ask, where was the husband? Or where was her relatives, her families, her friends? Because trust me, if all this is actually going on, as a black mother, you ought not to be alone. Whenever you're going to a hospital, make sure you go with someone. Because these guys would try all their best to ensure that they do what they can do, because that's what they are known for. Now, family, last year, we saw how that black women weren't attended to. We saw the story of a black mother that gave birth to her child in her car. Now, that's just a little of what black women go through in the hands of these guys. And what this mother is saying is that if you're black, you need to be careful, and you're pregnant. So this will not outrightly stop everything, right? But it will rather inform you. So you know this, you are aware of what can happen and what cannot happen. Let's watch the second story, family.
Let's talk about systemic racism in healthcare, because the passing of Dr. Janelle Green-Smith, a Black nurse midwife, following childbirth complications on January 1st, 2026, is a systemic issue. Dr. Green-Smith was a nurse midwife, maternal health advocate, and doctor of nursing practice. She gave birth by C-section and was rushed to the ER a few days later due to incision complications. She didn't make it out of the hospital alive. Dr. Green-Smith was 31 years old. She gave birth to her first child. She assisted in the births of over 300 babies, and she didn't make it out of the ER alive. Black women are significantly more likely to die during pregnancy and childbirth than white women. Studies show that Black women are 2 to 4 times more likely to pass away during pregnancy and childbirth than white women.
So yeah, family, this is a warning, and a warning. If you're pregnant, and this makes me wonder how that this is happening, and we have so many people in Africa that still leave their African countries to go out there to deliver their children. So yeah, family, this is a warning to be careful, right? For pregnant Black mothers, be careful, and for the husbands, the fathers, the brothers and sisters, be with your loved ones. Have you ever had such experiences before, family? And how was it for you? Comment your thoughts and do not forget to share, like, subscribe, and turn on your notification button. My name is Lynient Akotonou. Thank you for watching.